So, Dr. Hughes, do you recognize PX 1244?
Yes,
And it's a list of critical item endorsements,
correct,
and that's derived from the PAI?
correct.
And this is the PAI that you gave 9/26/2019.
I don't have the cover sheet in front of me, so
Why don't we scroll down to the bottom, Tom? And there it is.
yep.
There
Thank
it is
you.
down there.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. Now, critical item, I'm going to move this document, PX 1244, into evidence.
Your Honor, I would request that the entire document be put into the piece.
I'm only going to ask her about this piece.
I still would ask for the.
Well, it's his exhibit. Do you have any objection to his exhibit, which is just the first page?
No.
All right, 1244 in evidence.
Okay. So critical item endorsement, this starts a total of 27 PAI items reflecting serious pathology have very low endorsement rates in normal samples. These items have been termed critical items. You're familiar with that concept?
Yes, I am.
All right. And I just want to ask you about a couple of the critical items. The first one is potential for aggression. This was deemed under your PAI a critical item. And it says, sometimes my temper explodes and I completely lose control. How did that potential for aggression bear on your analysis?
Well, there's a few things. Number one, certainly Ms. Hurd reported to me that in her relationship that would happen. Her anger and her affect regulation would become impaired. Number two, you have to look at the total scales where that scale is not elevated, so it would not be a major cause of clinical concern. Number three, she had 4 responses that she could say to this question. Mainly true, very true, mainly true, sometimes true or false. She chose sometimes true. So she's answering honestly about her experience.
It's sometimes true that sometimes my temper explodes. That's
Correct.
what you're testifying.
Correct.
All right. So you've talked a little bit about this concept called malingering. And there's one here for potential malingering. And this is another one of these critical item endorsements. Critical items means that these are serious pathology, right?
Well, as you can see, it says endorsement of these critical items is not in and of itself diagnostic.
No,
So you need to review the content of the item, and that's how you make the determination. Is this something of clinical concern that you need to do more understanding about?
Okay, so this critical item endorsement, this one reads under potential malingering, I think I have 3 or 4 completely different personalities inside of me.
Correct.
And she endorsed that as sometimes true.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's not one elevated malingering scale on the PAI.
Yeah. Let me ask you about another document. I'm going to mark the document as PX 1248. Sure.
1248.
1248.
All right, yes, sir. Okay.
All right. Can you put up PX 1248 just for the witness? Dr. Hughes, do you recognize this?
Yes.
All right. And these are critical items that were deduced on the TSI 2 critical items list.
Correct.
And what's a 0 mean?
Means that she scored a 0 on that item. She said it's not something that's relevant for her at the time frame that the test was administered.
And these are all self-reports, right?
Correct.
And so she scored a 0 on doing something violent because you were so upset.
Correct.
See that language? You knew Ms. Heard to do violent things when she's upset.
This test specifies how often have you had these symptoms in the last 6 months?
Just in the last 6 months.
Correct.
All right. So she hadn't had them in the last 6 months.
Correct.
This test also asks and inquires about intentionally hurting yourself or cutting.
In the last 6 months
Right.
is the prompt.
All right. In the last 6 months.
Correct.
Had Ms. Heard previously indicated to you that she cut herself?
She indicated one time as a teenager in a reckless moment she did. It was stupid and I never did it again.
All right. So that was the first time you met her. She indicated that she had cut herself. What did you do to satisfy yourself that she didn't continue to engage in that behavior?
As with most things, I asked about the frequency of the behavior and had it ever occurred again. Had she ever engaged in suicidal behavior or suicidal gestures? That's part of that screen.
Where did Ms. Heard cut herself?
I'd have to look at my notes to be sure.
All right. Why don't we do that? That's in your intake note, correct?
I don't recall.
All right, why don't we go to PX 938? And if you put it up for the witness. All right, that's not it. Let's go to the next page. All right. There we go. All right. PX 938, we're on the third page. This background information sheet has already been admitted into evidence. And there's a discussion here we talked about earlier about intimate relationships.
I'm sorry, the question?
Yeah, let's go back to the first page. All right, there we go. What number is this? This is in at 1246. So this page anyway, I'll ask that it be published to the jury.
I think it already was, Your Honor. They did it again.
All right, we're going to do it again.
What, so 1246?
1246.
All right. Okay, it's in evidence. There's supposed to be redactions though, but, okay. All right, that's in 1246.
All right. So why don't we blow up the intimate relationships section? There's intimate relationships here relative to a variety of people, including a person called Tasha.
Tasha.
Who's she?
She was Miss Heard's wife.
Okay. And that relationship preceded her relationship with Mr. Depp?
That's correct.
Did you say on direct that you saw no previous inter-partner violence? Just yes or no?
I don't believe I did.
No. You don't believe that you saw inter-partner violence, or you didn't say it on direct?
I don't believe I said that yesterday.
Okay. Did you speak with Ms. Heard around the circumstances that gave rise to the TRO?
With, on May 21st?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did Ms. Heard ever tell you that James Franco spent the night with her at the ECB between May 21 and May 27?
I recall, I mean, again, it would be helpful to have my notes so I can tell you exactly what, but I do recall that she did see him at some point. I do not know if he spent the night.
Do you know if Elon Musk spent the night during that period?
I don't know.
All right. You cannot testify that Johnny Depp was not abused, can you?
I can testify that he had physical acts of violence perpetrated on him as well as psychological aggressive acts perpetrated upon him.
No further questions.
All right, redirect.